Hi, my name is Deborah Sprang. I've been a tax return preparer for over 20 years. I passed the CPA exam but did not work under a CPA and went out on my own instead. I've earned the enrolled agent designation, an IRS approved credential, which requires me to take continuing education classes yearly to maintain my license. If you haven't watched the two previous videos for the past 2 weeks, you may wish to look at them by searching under my name, Deborah Sprang. In those videos, I talked about filing statuses, dependents, and several sources of income, namely interest and dividends. Today, I'd like to continue with wages and some common fringe benefits that are not included in income on your W-2 and finish up with how to choose a tax return preparer. Briefly, I'm showing you images of Form W-2 and Form 1040 with the areas I'm talking about circled in red. You'll see that on the next slide. The following types of income are reported on your W-2 and then transferred to your Form 1040, generally on lines 1A, 1B, or 1C. Number 1, wages, salaries, and bonuses from your employer go in box 1 of Form W-2. Other items in boxes on W-2 are the federal income tax withheld, the state income tax withheld, and the employee's portion of Social Security tax and Medicare tax withheld. The federal and state tax withheld are reported on your Form 1040 and count as payment made toward your tax liability or are refunded to you. Number 2, income from tips for server positions in a restaurant or other tip-paying jobs goes in box 1 and box 7 of the W-2. Any tip income not reported to the employer and any allocated tips on box 8 of your W-2 you must report on your Form 1040 on line 1C. Tip income not included in line 1A unless you can prove that your unreported tips are less than the amount in box 8, allocated tips. For more on allocated tips, please contact me or refer to IRS Publication 17. Also include the value of any non-cash tips you received, such as tickets, passes, or items of value on line 1C. You may owe Social Security and Medicare tax on unreported tips, which is reportable on line 5, Schedule 2. Number 3, income from working as a household employee. You will receive a W-2 for wages over $2,400. If you do not receive a W-2 from your employer, you must report your wages on line 1B, household wages for which you did not receive a W-2. Number 4, any type of award in the form of cash, services, or goods from your employer is also reportable income, and if not included in Form W-2, can be reported on Schedule 1, line 8I. If it's a length of service or safety achievement award for any given year, the amount is excludable up to $1,600 for any items awarded under a qualified plan award, or up to $400 for any items awarded under a non-qualified plan award. Your employer can tell you which award is applicable to a qualified or non-qualified plan. And number 5, all taxable fringe benefits go in box 1 of Form W-2, along with wages, tips, and other compensation, and if applicable, in boxes 3 and 5 as Social Security and Medicare wages. Some fringe benefits aren't taxable, such as number 1, employer provided cost for accident or health plan coverage. However, benefits you receive from the plan may be taxable. Number 2, employer provided long-term care coverage contributions to provide coverage for long-term care services. Number 3, products or services of small value from your employer, such as gifts of turkey, ham, or other items of nominal value at Christmas or other holidays. If your employer gives you a cash or cash equivalent, you must, however, include that in your income. Number 4, the cost of up to $50,000 of group term life insurance coverage provided to you by your employer or former employer. However, if the cost of employer-provided insurance is more than the cost of $50,000 of coverage, it's includable in income. If the insurance policy includes benefits such as a paid-up or cash surrender value, you must include it in your income as wages minus the amount you pay for them. Your employer should report this amount on your W-2 Box 14 and should be able to tell you what amount to include in your income. Number 5, transportation fringe benefits from your employer, such as transportation in a commuter highway vehicle, such as a van, between your home and workplace, a transit pass, or qualified parking up to $280 per month if your employer uses an accountable plan. If the benefits have a value that is more than these limits, the excess must be included in income. Number 6, qualified contributions by your employer to a qualified retirement plan for you at the time contributed. Your employer can tell you whether your retirement plan is qualified or not. Generally, don't include the value of qualified retirement planning services from your employer's plan, such as retirement planning advice, information about your employer's retirement plan, and information about how the plan may fit into your overall individual retirement income plan. But you do need to include in income the value of any tax preparation, accounting, legal, or brokerage services provided by your employer. And number 7, employer-provided qualified educational assistance, up to $5,250. And number 8, employer-paid expenses incurred for qualified adoption expenses in connection with your adoption of an eligible child. Adoption benefits are reported by your employer in Box 12 of Form W-2 with Code T. They are also included as Social Security and Medicare wages in Boxes 3 and 5. However, they aren't included as wages in Box 1. To determine the taxable and non-taxable amounts, you must complete Part 3 of Form 8839. Finally, for any performed services, an employer does not withhold Social Security and Medicare tax from your pay. You should report it yourself on Form 8919 and attach it to your 1040. Enter the amount of unreported tax on line 1G on Form 1040 as well. The final topic I'd like to discuss is about choosing a tax return preparer. Anyone with an IRS P-10 or Preparer Tax Identification Number can be a paid tax return preparer. However, tax return preparers have differing levels of skills, education, and expertise. Choosing a tax return preparer wisely is important because taxpayers are ultimately responsible for all the information on their return, no matter who prepares it for them. Taxpayers can start their search with the IRS Directory of Preparers. This list includes those who are enrolled agents, CPAs, and attorneys, as well as those who participate in the annual filing season program. Before hiring a preparer, make sure you know what you're getting. Check the preparer's history with the Better Business Bureau. Taxpayers can also verify an enrolled agent status on irs.gov. Ask about fees. Taxpayers should avoid tax return preparers who base their fees on a percentage of the refund or who offer to deposit all or part of their refund into the financial account. Taxpayers should be suspicious of any preparer claiming that they can get larger refunds than other tax preparers. Ask if the preparer plans to use e-file. The fastest way to get a refund is by e-filing and choosing direct deposit. Make sure the preparer will be available if needed after tax season and in the future. It's possible you'll need the preparer to answer questions about the preparation of a tax return later. Ensure the preparer signs and includes their P-10. Paid tax return preparers must have a P-10 to prepare the tax returns and must include it on any tax return they prepare. Consider the person's credentials. Only attorneys, CPAs, and enrolled agents can represent taxpayers before the IRS in tax matters. Other tax return preparers who participate in the IRS annual filing season program have limited practice rights to represent taxpayers during audits of returns they prepared. That concludes my talk for today. I hope some of this information will be useful to you when preparing your tax return or having someone prepare it for you. I'm trying to make the information easier to understand, and I know it can be difficult when hearing it for the first time. Please see my contact information on the next slide for any questions or clarifications. I charge $175 or less for a personal return and $250 for a business return. Thank you for watching.